Grand Rising. Welcome to the channel, Excellence, where we strive for excellent. We strive to be one better than what we were yesterday. Today we're going to talk about the dangers of a closed mind and not being able to control your thinking, reasoning, willing, and your understanding. And where do your thoughts come from? See, at some point in time, you got to understand how to control certain things within you, how to change your mindset and set your mind on another thought and another direction. Thoughts are developed by the exercise of strength. If you don't strengthen certain thoughts, you will use the tools in the workshop of the mind, which is called the axe, and you will uproot that thought before it have a chance to manifest. One of my thought processes in manifesting the right thought is being conscious of the thoughts. Chaos, confusion, reason, and resolution. Now, if you sit back with an empty mind and someone, hits one of your triggers and you let chaos come into your thoughts first, chaos will bring confusion. But if you stop in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and uproot that thought, then you'll look for reason and you'll find the resolution. Because it's never about who created the problem. It's about how we gonna fix it. As we always say, if you have a flat tire and you on a bus full of people going somewhere, you're not gonna sit on the bus and complain about the flat. It's about getting out, fixing it, and continuing your journey. In life, we take a lot of journeys, but the most serious journey that you must take is the journey through your mind, the journey through your imagination. See, it was just my imagination running away with me. Each day by my window, I watched her as she passes by. I said to myself, you're such a lucky guy. Listen to the record. You know the lyrics. One thing about life and universal law that governs all events, you must be conscious of what's going on. Now, I'm going to drop some heavy jewels on you because I'm tired of playing games. Spiritual entities. What is the spirit? The spirit of man, and to be one with the spirit of man, is called voodoo. See, in voodoo, you are one. You are experiencing the divine. See, when you can call on that divine spirit, see, with voodoo is nothing evil. That is that divine spirit that when you call on it, it will spook the hell out of you. How do you perform voodoo? By doing what's right by everyone. Practicing, preaching, and teaching righteousness. If you continue to practice, teach, think, raise your consciousness to righteousness, that's called voodoo. Because all of the evil stuff that comes towards you, what you are doing when you raise your thoughts to infinite wisdom, you are connecting to everything out there in the galaxy, everything out there in the universe, everything in outer space. How do you connect to it? The highest inner power of man is love. You connect to it through love. What is love? Love is only a commitment to do right. See, once you have put within your mindset, your thinking, your reasoning, your willing, and your understanding of love, unconditional love, love with no conditions on it, then you can reach the highest state of practicing in the spiritual realm to experience the divine, to live with the divine entities, to live amongst them. While you on this plane of things made manifest has spooked a lot of people, because you must stay on that path of righteousness for your sake. Yea, though I walk through the valleys of the shadows of death, I fear no evil, for thy art is with me. You see that art, that spirit that was in that art, that kundalini power that was in that art. See, when you can summon that power, and people are coming to you and trying to distort that vibration, that power, that be, will handle everything that comes at me. That's why no weapon formed against me will ever prosper, because I am connected to that highest power unconditionally, which is called love. I came to all of y'all in love. I'm going to leave y'all in peace, because Oprah Winfrey got something to say to you. I'll talk to you later.
I also struggled a lot with anxiety and depression. If you start to feel like you are twisting things around you, and you start to feel like there is no sunlight around you, and you are paralyzed with fear, here's how you can help yourself.
First, you have to understand what anxiety is, and you have to understand the connection between worry, which is something we all do, and self-doubt, which is something we all do, and anxiety. Anxiety is what happens when your habit of worrying spirals out of control. It's important for you to foundationally understand that anxiety and worry are the same thing. It's just that your body starts to get agitated, and that's when we call worrying anxiety. Your heart races. You might sweat a little bit. You might feel tightening in your chest. You might feel a pit in your stomach. You have a surge of cortisol. You can actually beat it. This is how you're going to do it. So all day long, you're going to have moments where your thoughts drift. Like, you'll just be hanging out with your friends, and then suddenly you're like, I'm not sure that that person likes me anymore. I haven't heard from my kids lately. I wonder if they're dead, or, as I check it, like, you just start worrying about stuff. Why? Because it's a habit. Because when you're not paying attention, your brain shifts from you being a decision maker and paying attention to you just kind of spinning things on autopilot, and one of your habits is worrying. The second you wake up and you notice, holy cow, I'm talking some negative garbage to myself right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've just shifted the part of the brain. You've shifted from the basal ganglia, which is where your habit loops are spinning, and you've awakened your prefrontal cortex. You've also interrupted that pattern. Now what you're going to do, because your mind is actually ready to receive a different thought because of the counting, now you can put in an anchor thought. Like if you have a mantra, if you've got a vision about the way that your business is going to turn out in 5 years, if you just have a thought that makes you really happy and proud, insert that. Now, why does this work? It works because of the counting. And I'm not kidding. We know, based on research, that positive thinking alone, not effective. In some instances, trying to force yourself to think positive can actually make the worries worse. Why? Well, the reason why is because it's really hard to just change the channel. What we have to do first is basically interrupt it and turn off the TV, and then turn it back on with the prefrontal cortex awakened. So the counting is essential. And so you can start using this today.
And the problem that I have with anxiety is the physiological side of it. I got shallow breathing, rapid heart rate, and most terrifyingly, the blood is actually leaving the prefrontal cortex. And so you're getting into a position where your higher level cognition is actually being shut down because it doesn't have blood flow. And then I began to visualize that what I was trying to do was get myself into a calm state where the blood could actually go back to the places that I needed it, so that my higher level ability to reason would kick back in. The first thing that I started to do to be able to consciously control that was meditate. In meditating, what you're learning to do, at least for me, and I don't consider myself a meditation expert by any means, but this was one of the huge wins for me in meditating, was learning to breathe from my diaphragm. Even one breath from my diaphragm had a really big impact. Breathing from your diaphragm instead of from your chest, right? So most people breathe like this, and it's all in your upper chest. You're not getting a very deep breath. So in meditating and learning to breathe from your diaphragm and learning to consciously calm yourself down, meaning you're lowering your heart rate, you're breathing much more deeply from the diaphragm, getting the blood reallocated to the parts of the brain that are actually useful. That meditating was my first step into that.
When there are really hard times, there are so many tools that you can use to help yourself in those times, and it does get better and easier as life goes on and you start to get to know yourself more, and what will trigger certain instances of anxiety, and where you feel comfortable and safe. So I'm just saying, don't ever feel like you're a weirdo for it, because we're all weirdos.
A time has come where everyone must wake up to the consciousness of their mind, to the universal crowns of wisdom, to the 360 degrees of knowledge. Knowledge of self, knowledge of your existence, knowledge of your purpose, knowledge of your will. A lot of people out there are living oxymorons. 1 minute you willeth, the next minute you willeth not. Pay attention. Control your vehicle. Stay in your lane. Stop being the crash test dummy. I come to y'all in love. I leave y'all in peace. I'm out.